Fala galera, beleza? Tudo bom? Aqui que tá falando com vocês é o Edu mais uma vez. E dessa vez vocês estão me vendo num formato aqui um pouco diferente. Vocês estão vendo que a minha tela tá compartilhando com uma pessoa aqui. Eu tô com o Alejandro. Assim como a gente, ele também é um expatriado morando fora do país. Ele vai contar um pouco pra gente sobre a carreira dele, sobre de onde ele veio, vai dar algumas dicas. So Alejandro, would you mind introducing yourself, sharing a little bit more about what you do?
My name is Alejandro Cremades, and I co-founded this company called Mais. So I came here to New York City when I was 20 years old with a backpack. I came here to do my master's degree, then I joined a law firm called Conversei. And there I was involved in the investment arbitration cases. I met my co-founder during that time. We saw that there was a huge need on how companies needed access to financing and resources, and we founded OneBest. And the idea started basically back then as a platform where we would connect startups with investors. This was before crowdfunding and all that stuff, had even happened. And our vision has grown into something much bigger than what we initially thought at that point, which was just connecting, for the financing side for startups. That just today represents 5% of our operation. So OneBest is the holding company today, and there's two platforms that we currently own and operate. One of them is CoFoundersLab. So CoFoundersLab is where 95% of our time goes. CoFoundersLab is kind of like the LinkedIn for entrepreneurs. It's a network that we've created where we basically support founders throughout the entire journey of building and scaling their companies. So it doesn't matter where you are, at the stage where you have an idea on a napkin or maybe you already have raised $20 million, it's still a network. The way that we are doing that is we have different ways in which people see the platform. So for example, right now we have over 300,000 entrepreneurs registered. So I think it's not the largest, it's probably the largest network out there for entrepreneurs. And that's Co-Founders Lab alone. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing. If you're a founder, and this is your network. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have 1,000 Angels, this other platform. And basically what 1,000 Angels is a platform where we connect early startups. So that's really all in all our operation.
Wow, this is fantastic. So my first question to you is, how did you get from scratch, from zero, from being like someone moving abroad with 23 years old to getting a business that has like 300,000 entrepreneurs? How did you get there?
You need to listen. You need to listen to potential customers, to the market. You need to understand first if there's a problem and then how to resolve and how to do things better and faster than what's already out there working. And I think that's probably like the biggest thing.
You mentioned you have a co-founder. How did you find a co-founder? Like, what are the things that you look for when you're looking for someone to partner with?
When you start a company, you need to be with someone that is able to have integrity. And what I mean with integrity is to be able to honor their word and their promise. And that is what ultimately it's going to lead to creating trust between the two individuals or with whatever amount of co-founders you have, so that you can rely on them, you can divide and conquer, and you can trust that what they say they're going to do, they're going to do it. And basically, I think that you need to also understand what are your weaknesses and try to get someone that is going to cover those, because what they can contribute, is their strengths. You need to have diversity in that type of skill sets and backgrounds and what people can contribute to the table. When it comes down to finding a partner, you want to take a look at the skill sets, you want to take a look at background and the strengths, their level of commitment, and to see where the balance goes, if it's on the positive side or on the negative side. But remember that you're in it for the long run, so that's really the way to go.
Another question that I have is, you moved from Madrid to US, and there are probably like challenges you had to face being an immigrant or just getting started in a different country. What was the biggest challenge you had to face?
Language. I have a big accent when I speak English. So I remember, for example, one time we were raising our first round of financing, and on this round, group of investors, and after doing my pitch, one of the investors said, "Alejandro, I thought you did a tremendous job, but you need to pronounce better the word entrepreneur." We all laughed. I think that you just need to not take yourself too serious, you know? And that's okay if people are pulling jokes of your accent, you know? You just need to laugh at it as well. Practice the language and eventually you'll get more comfortable. I think that the other is really understanding culture. In Spain, for example, if you fail, people point at you. In the US, if you fail, people clap and people encourage you to do it again because it's all a matter of learning. And you're not going to, you know, be Michael Jordan from day one. You need to train, you need to make the mistakes, and that's all it takes. And I think that the same thing applies in business. And I understood that I didn't have to be embarrassed for asking for help. I didn't have to be embarrassed for reaching out to people directly. And I needed to get used to it.
And you deal with entrepreneurs from all over the world for a while now. You have a lot of experience with this. What are the common mistakes that they have when they try to approach someone like you, when they try to approach someone looking for funding? What are the common mistakes they have?
They talk too much. It's like when you ask them how they are and they explain how they are. You know, they say like with every single detail, especially when you're going for financing. First, we need to build that background relatedness to connect with that individual, and that is more on a personal level. Instead of you talking about yourself, ask them questions. You know, like do some research on their background, what are their hobbies, where did they study, I mean, things like that. And then you may connect on those things, and then you go into the concerns. You know, maybe you give a quick elevator pitch about your business. You don't have to tell them all your freaking features. Nobody cares. And then after you do that, then let them ask questions. Try to see what are their concerns. Address specifically those concerns. Try to you know, tell them your advice, you know, on those questions. And that's it. It's all a matter of listening. And that's why I say that it's so important that founders are able to master this.
This is the last question, and I know that you mentioned listen. This is the biggest maybe advice you would give us today, but is there any other advice you would give someone who is moving abroad, perhaps trying out something new and trying to be an entrepreneur abroad? What would it be the advice you would give this person?
My advice for everyone that is listening is never say that you are fundraising unless you already have a lead investor that has wired you at least 20% of your round of financing, of whatever round that you're looking to raise. And here's the reason. The minute that you say that you're fundraising, the clock starts to tick. That means that if you go back to that same investor 3 months later, and you tell that investor, hey, you know, you're still fundraising, then that investor is going to think that everyone has rejected you, and that you're going back to them because you need their money, because everyone else rejected you. So my piece of advice here is that you always go asking for feedback, never fundraising. And then basically the way you do this is the minute one of these people that are giving you feedback steps up and says, hey, you know what? Are you for money? I'll be glad to give you the first check. You know, I'm interested or whatever. Then you have that investor. You go to everyone else that has been giving you advice, and you tell them, "Hey, we already have a lead investor ready to put this thing in motion. Are you in or not?" So, really, the idea of fundraising is that you need to master that psychology and then also that strategy, so that you create the fear of saying out, that scarcity.
This is great. Thanks a lot for that. And again, for people who are still in Brazil or living in Ireland, can they subscribe to CoFoundersLab? How do they do it?
Well, yeah, so go to CoFoundersLab. It's completely free to join. And I think that you're going to find a tremendous amount of value regardless of the stage that you're in your business.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alejandro.
Just one quick thing, Ed. If anyone wants to dig a little bit deeper on the fundraising subject, Kindle, audio, however, you name it. It's the art of startup fundraising. In the first week alone, it sold 1,000 copies. So just feel free to go to Amazon and get your copy.
Perfect. We'll do that then. Thank you so much, Alejandro. Have a great day ahead, and we'll talk soon.